Hello, if you're anything like me, you love to do stuff with something in your ears, and so maybe you'll put on a podcast right before doing the dishes so that one will distract you from the other at any given moment. I like to set boundaries around that sort of stuff. Personally, mine is I don't listen to any podcasts in the shower. I would never connect to a speaker because I think it would rob me of that sort of stillness and awareness that you get only in the shower. So it's just sort of precious space for me. But this is a video all about getting more of those moments. It's a video about guided meditation. And the problem with guided meditations is, well, first of all, it's a kind of an awkward and uncomfortable topic. And in order to empathize with the viewers, I've put myself in an awkward and uncomfortable environment by shooting this in a public park where people are here and can hear me and see me, and there's a tripod and a camera set up. It's very uncomfortable for me. Thought I would do this outside to create an ambiance of relaxation and nature. However, it is windy out here, and I am developing my seasonal allergies. So making a good visual stimulus for a piece of media that's meant to be listened to with your eyes closed is probably a mistake, but here we are. Anyway, I guess my problem with guided meditations in general is that oftentimes they feel more like guided relaxations, where you've got a nice, soft-spoken, maybe British person saying something like, relax your body, and telling you what to think about, what to do, how to breathe. And if you're paying too much attention to that, it's good because it tells you what to do where you don't feel a little lost, I guess. But the problem is you're never really being 100% mindful because you're listening to that person talk. And so I've experimented with this once on Patreon, thinking that would be the end of it until somebody told me that they actually listened to it multiple times. So here we are, where we start off with this sort of podcast, something in your ear just to distract you moment, and sort of funnel into a more focused and guided meditation over time. And so that's going to begin now. If you, I guess, trust me to lead you down this path in a charitable and productive way, go find some place to sit down or lay down. This will only take 10 minutes from this point, and I think the benefit of the benefit of me having you as a captive audience is I know that you have enough time to pull up this 15 or so minute long video, so I know you've got 10 minutes to spare. There's a joke that I'm going to butcher by bastardizing it, where it's like, everybody in the world should meditate for at least 10 minutes, unless you're really, really busy and stressed out, then you should meditate for 20. So I've got you. I know that you've got at least enough time to watch this video. It's been 3 minutes, and so what's 10 more, right? So go sit down, lie down, crisscross applesauce, however you want, as long as it's comfortable. I like to just go lay in bed and put a sleeping mask on and zonk out, but whatever makes you comfortable. Really, we're going to spend maybe 4 minutes talking about comfort. Again, I don't want to linger on that too much at risk of making a guided relaxation, but one thing that I do like to do is this practice that was taught to me where you imagine a laser that moves really slowly. It scans your entire body from your head to your toe, and as that laser passes over your body, it fully and deeply relaxes whatever that laser is focused on. So if you would like to close your eyes and imagine that laser starting off at the top of your head and then making its way down towards maybe your brow line, relaxing your brow line, maybe to your ears, nose, and eyes, relax those. A big one for me is my jaw. Once it makes its way onto the jaw, you'll realize maybe you are clenching that jaw without even realizing it. Neck, shoulders. Shoulders are always a big one for me. Upper back. Again, I'm kind of rolling through this in a conversational and casual way, but if you do that laser, it should be maybe at your lower back by now, upper thigh, and it's going all the way through, all the way down, all the way to the toes, and hopefully you can get very relaxed. And so this is really the beginning of the work of it all. Mindfulness meditation is really just about focusing on your breath, because almost always as you traverse life, you're thinking about something in the past or in the present, like an argument that you could have had, the past or the future. So an argument that you could have had or something that you're worried about in the future. And the only way that you can be truly mindful in one moment is by focusing on something that you do automatically, and that's your breath. So think about your breath right now. You are officially meditating because you decided, I'm going to take a moment and focus on my breath. Okay? You're doing it. So maybe you're focusing on the sensation of the cold air in your nose. Maybe you're focusing on the rising and the falling of your chest. Maybe you're picturing your lungs filling up and deflating with every breath in or out. The purpose is to focus 100% on your breath. And in a moment, I'm going to give you 60 seconds of pure quiet time to just focus on your breath. And I'm telling you now, you're going to do a bad job. unless you're an expert at this. But 60 seconds is really difficult to do if you just want to focus on your breath, because you're going to think of something that you should be doing right now and you're going to want to get up, or something that you want to write down so you can remember later. This is often called taming the monkey mind, because your mind wants to bounce around everywhere. So here's 60 seconds starting in, let's start it in 5 seconds. I'll give you 60 seconds on the clock starting now. All right, how'd you do? I'm guessing it was very difficult, unless you're very good at this, because the idea of just thinking about nothing but your breath for 60 whole seconds is incredibly difficult. And the real work of this, if you think about getting your reps in at the gym, the reps that you achieve by practicing this is by recognizing when your mind has shifted into something else, thinking about something else, and then in a judgment-free way, bringing yourself back to center where you're just thinking about your breath. And the way that this manifests its benefits in regular life is that sometimes when you might get mad, you might feel your heart rate go up, or your blood rush to your face, or your skin get flushed. And as you practice becoming more and more aware and mindful of your reaction, you'll be able to use the reps that you practice to come back to center in a much more difficult environment. So I want to do this again. We're going to do 60 seconds again, but this time I actually programmed a little chime sound. Listen to this. Ooh, how nice is that? I've programmed a little chime sound, and I'm going to press that button 30 seconds in. That way, we're going to do 60 seconds again, but halfway in, you'll get a little reminder that says, hey, if you're distracted, in a judgment-free way, calmly come back to center. How does that sound? Maybe it'll be a little easier with a 30-second reminder in the middle of it. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds to focus on nothing but your breath, starting now. So what do you think? Was that a little easier? Maybe not. Maybe you feel accomplished just getting that far and you want to stop here and come back tomorrow to try again later. That's fine too. The idea is to do this over and over every day until you can do longer bouts of mindfulness meditation. And just so you know, a minute is very difficult. To do 5 minutes would be really respectable work. And so this idea that you're just going to be able to sit down and do it for like 30 minutes straight is not very realistic. And personally, sometimes I use this to my advantage. I'll use this to go to sleep. If I'm struggling to go to bed, I'll focus on mindfulness meditation and count each breath. So 1. And the great part is I've never gotten to 60 without falling asleep. I was given this challenge. Try to get to 60 before falling asleep, or try to get to 60 without falling asleep. And I always fall asleep before 60. And the nice part about numbering them is that if you do mess up and you do feel like you've lost track, then you can go back to whichever number you remember saying to yourself most recently. So if you say 10, if you count your 10th breath and then 10 minutes later you realize you stopped counting, you can just go back to 10 and count back up to 60. Give it a try, or stop now. Again, you're the boss. I think that we could do 2 minutes all the way through, completely quiet, with these 30-second chimes. What do you think about that? Should we do 2 minutes with 30-second chimes in between? Let's give it a try, starting now. All right. You should feel very accomplished, and I'm going to use a gentle voice here because I know that after I've done a good 2 minutes even of meditation, I kind of feel vibed out, a little zoned out, much more at peace, and so I don't want to ruin that for you. But just so you know, you can go about your day in a little bit better of a headspace now, or you could keep on going. I think I'm going to do that one more time, this time 5 minutes straight with one ding every 60 seconds. I will also, before you leave, I'll put some kind of books or further reading in the video description. This is really meant to be a introduction and not an end-all be-all. I think you can only do this using this video probably for 1 week. Maybe if you do it every day for 5 days, then maybe a week. But later on, you're going to need some better assets, better tools. So Insight Timer is a good app. There's different books that sort of get at the benefits of doing this and make a more compelling case to practice it than a guy online told me so. So without further ado, I'm going to start this clock. Again, it'll be 5 minutes with a ding every 60 seconds. And if you've made it through this entire video and you do 5 minutes, that's a cumulative 9 minutes that you have meditated today, which is an incredibly high amount. I don't want to make that any small feat. 10 minutes of meditation in a day is a big deal. And I think if you can even do 2 minutes of real focused breath work in one day, every day for a month, you'd likely see some benefit. So I was paying attention to the clock, but now I'm not. And now I need 20 seconds to start this clock so that we have nice round numbers on the clock. Ready? Okay, 5, 4, 3. That's 5 minutes of meditation starting now. That's the end of 5 minutes. Great work if you made it all the way through. And hey, just because you made a couple mistakes and had to recenter a couple of times, maybe even 100 times, that still means that you did it. You got your reps in. Also, I'm glad that I did this outside because the wind proved to provide a little bit of auditory ambiance, so that's not just pure silence the entire time. Anyway, I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day. I hope that this contributes to your life in some beneficial way, especially if you make it into a habit. And if not, then it undid a little bit of the likely damage that listening to podcasts and videos all the time is probably doing to you and I alike. See ya, or namaste, or no, that's yoga. Goodbye.